Okay, so here I am again. One of the main issues that I'm having right now is that whenever there are people helping me try to solve any of these issues that are happening with Daisy Isabel Jazz Ridley, the actress Ray the actress that plays Ray from the new Star Wars movies, the trilogy, or myself, is that anytime anyone that is of any assistance, any of those individuals, whenever they're pulled away and they go about their daily lives and they're having to go take part in like other parts of their day or their natural routines, those are actually sometimes they're interrupted, and they're interrupted in such a way that it's highly offensive, and it's presenting material that is highly inaccurate to them, so that they're getting very, very confused in the midst of like a giant political game that's kind of happening behind the scenes that a lot of people aren't seeing. So this is why this is not really getting the publicity that it really needs. And I do think that this is this does not necessarily mean that anyone working for law enforcement in any area, any sector, whether it be military, whether it be police, or whether it be intel or Secret Service or anything, is being unprofessional. The problem being they're using advanced forms of AI to mix up and to obfuscate any of these pieces of information that are coming out of myself or coming out of anyone that would come to my assistance. Simultaneous to this, anyone that would be of assistance to Daisy Isabel Jazz Ridley, or her being connected to me in any fashion, or her being like of any type of assistance towards me. So any of these linkages that are taking place, they're trying to dissolve them, is what I'm essentially saying. And this information that they're presenting to you, just because you look at my social media and it like on one front, in terms of what you could interpret it as, people are seeing this as some sort of extremist notion, and it's really not. It's actually that this is how bad the problems have got, or this is how bad the problems have come to me, have arrived at my domain, that I would have to say any of these things. So I think the same situation is kind of happening on her end, on Daisy Isabel Jazz Ridley's. The only issue is this individual already has two conditions to kind of deal with, and she's being attacked on a quantum level with nanotechnology. So they're trying to sterilize her, and they're trying to sterilize me at the same time, but they're trying to do so in such a way that it's these timed events, and they're possibly using a quantum computer to do this, and the whole thing is predicated on being vindictive. So you see, you have all this just giant mixture of different issues that are happening simultaneous to other people being worried about their wealth. So you have like a lot of different political agendas. You have a lot of different individuals who are having problems being able to like choose an area from which they can stand at and actually place their point, because you keep having all these tumultuous shifts, these giant like upheavals behind the scenes when it comes to people's opinions about like what's actually going on with these issues. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're trying to destroy any kind of credibility involved with myself or anyone helping me, because they're trying to make it seem like the situation is ridiculous. Because like, okay, well, you're sitting around in a chair, or here you are now in this video, like sitting at a restaurant. Well, that's part of the problem. That's part of why it would seem so ridiculous, is because these very things are happening while I'm like in the middle of society living, and that I don't have access to all these quantum computing technologies. So I can't go through and program, or get a team of programmers linked up with me in a very personal fashion to go through and take all of these various controls apart that are placed upon me, or the other woman that I'm talking about in this video. So they do have nanites inside of my body that have not been removed, and multiple times it has been requested by I do believe military, intel, police, or other like civilian parties, and it has not been honored in any case. I think these nanites also exist or are in the bodies of the other people that have tried to assist me, and I would very much like to press for medical examinations of all of these individuals who are involved, because I want one of the things to be that there's a proof that there is this nanotechnology being used on people, that it is in your bodies, and it has been sprayed via aerosol sprays, and that is why it is in there. And that's part of the reason why they're able to threaten people, how they're threatening people, is because in the tense of this being like a kind of a somewhat behind the scenes matter that I'm trying to bring more out into the public, and maybe even preemptively before mainstream media really gets their hands on it, because mainstream media can have one take on things, and then on another level where it's actually happened and people have actually gone through the situations, you will get an entirely different interpretation. So they try to make things palatable for the public, and I think in this particular situation, things need to be more raw and more real when it comes to the solution to all of these issues. I will also say that they've stated multiple times that Daisy Isabel Jazz Ridley has been sterilized already, and so this is something that I've been very worried about, and also mainly because I want to make a child with this individual. I want to have a baby with her. So yeah, I'm having some serious problems here when it comes to them threatening her probably behind her back even, over these networks and exclaiming these things to me, and then being so proud about it, being so boastful, and claiming they've already accomplished this, and then turning around and constantly heckling other individuals, whether there be law enforcement or myself or her or any of her friends, and then trying to threaten everyone with identity assassinations, which a lot of people will respond to naturally. So maybe people can kind of think about this and take it into context, where they take so many of my words and my essential my essential nomenclature that I'm trying to add to any of these conversations, and basically placing it forth misaligned.